this entire project without them. So thanks for being on, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Jenny. We've got Veronica Surrogate here with us.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
I'm just, we've got Tam, Rebecca, Girls with Grit, Vic. We've got a couple guys. I was hoping that men wouldn't feel excluded. Hey, Tam. How are you? Always on the go. You're muted.
I'm doing my walk. You know, I have my thing that I do every single day. I usually do it at 6 in the morning, but I had another meeting this morning, so I'm out still, and I wanted to join you guys. So I hope you guys don't mind. I'm walking in beautiful Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
amazing.
here on the East Coast, it's winter. It's officially winter now.
Well, it depends where on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's true. Not your East Coast. My East Coast is like 40 degrees right now.
Oh, no.
All right. So 7:01. Should we give it one more minute? Everybody do their ooh-ah. All right. Big news today about EXP.
What happened?
Well, Tristan Ahumada joined, and then today Nick Baldwin joined. That's huge.
I didn't hear about Nick. That's good.
Yeah, like just a couple hours ago. You know,
Should have expected it, but
yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure, you know, how quickly that was going to happen, but I figured it would. So
It would make sense not to.
yeah, they work well together. They built quite a group with Lab Code Agent. Nikki, you were one of their moderators for a while, weren't you?
I still am.
Oh, okay. So you might be you were probably in the know before we were.
No, I actually was surprised about Nick because he's been so entrenched. I mean, he has that command group with 100,000 people in it. It's like a KW command. Like I was a little bit surprised.
Yeah. All right, guys, I guess let's do this. All right.
Go, ladies.
What was that?
Oh, I just said, let's go, ladies.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Okay, I'm going to admit all. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. All right, Jenna, I'm going to surrender to you all the next additions. Great. So welcome to our book launch party. Women in Real Estate Who Boss Up. We are so excited. Welcome. I'm just going to give it just another little minute here for people to kind of stream in. We've got a few more people. Looks like we're up to 42. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I see we've got people from across the U.S. We've got some husbands supporting, I see. That's great. I always love it when I see some of these ladies' husbands posting their successes. It's always so heartwarming. Rebecca, you and Josue always,
Kathy and Steve. I mean,
Kathy and Steve.
come on.
Yeah, Veronica and Tony.
Yeah. Oh, Tony. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, welcome everybody.
Things about your wives.
All right. So, well, we have Tam Luck, our editor and publisher, on. She is on the move. You probably see her walking there. But I'd like to start by really welcoming Tam to joining us this evening and really being a great co-pilot in all of this and helping us bring this to fruition. I think some of you may have heard the story of how this came about. I met Tam in New Jersey just under a year ago, probably 9 months ago. at another book launch, and she was launching a book for a group of women who were bossing up in the healthcare industry. And I approached her and I said, have you ever done this for women in real estate? And so that was the impetus for this book. So she said, nope, but we are now. And a week later, this project was underway. And the women that are in the book that are here this evening, thank you so much for, taking a leap of faith and saying yes to this project. I was really, really happy to bring all of you together. I highly admire all of you. So the fact that you all said yes was amazing. So Tam, I wanted you to say a few words about your Women Who Boss Up movement, and also speak a little bit about your organization, Women with Vision International.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I'm so excited to be here. And first of all, I'm out here walking in Las Vegas. It's still light out here in the West Coast. And I do my walk every single day without fail, 7 days a week. So I didn't want to miss this call. But first of all, yes, my name is Tam Luck. I'm the CEO of Deluxe Life Media and the founder of Women with Vision International. It was started really as a ode to my mother. Really, if you guys want to know the real reason why I started, mom's an entrepreneur, and I watched her raise kids as a single mom, then got married and started a business, and they were in home improvement, just like you see on HGTV. And they did very well in the 80s and 90s, and I was really impressed. So 2 Black people from the Midwest, and I was just impressed. I also was influenced by Rich Dad, Poor Dad when he showed up on Oprah Winfrey and Robert Kiyosaki, and I wanted to be in real estate, and I wanted to be an investor. And I started buying real estate really young, early. I had 5 properties, and so went into investment. I ended up in commercial real estate, working in marketing, working in operations. I was in real estate for over 20 years. So I'm impressed and inspired by women. I've watched how hard it is to do it. And when Caroline came up to me, I was just like, hell yes, I want to show what these women can do. And I know that women in real estate you don't have to have a degree or higher degrees. You just have to have grit. You have to have fortitude, stick-to-itiveness, and that's all I want. So I thought it was a perfect group of women to do. And you ladies are inspiring. Oh my goodness. I have interviewed over 200 women, heard their stories of all kinds. You can just not even imagine what I've heard. Sometimes it's hard for me to get through in these podcasts, these interviews, because these stories are so touching. But the point of the matter is that you guys get through it. You get to the other side. You succeed. You inspire. And that's what I want to keep doing. I have over 200 authors right now in my books. We have a goal of 250 books. And I'm just grateful to be amongst you. And that's it. That's it. We're continuing on books number 11 and 12. And, just thank you for having me to be along this ride with you ladies.
Thanks so much, Tam. Yep. And we're looking forward to having all the ladies represent the book at your annual summit in January as well. So we'll be posting more information about that. Every single one of us has put together a presentation that we will be presenting live on at your virtual summit. So super excited about that. All right, so I wanted to introduce Debbie Beery, who wrote the foreword to our book. She's running a little bit late. She's stuck in traffic, so she's going to hopefully meet us shortly, join us shortly. So before we kind of get started with introducing the ladies here, I did want to say that I put in the chat the link to the Amazon book if you're interested in getting the ebook. Know that all of the proceeds from now until January of the ebook on Amazon will be matched by 200% by Women with Vision International. And Tam will be making that donation live on the virtual Zoom in January at the summit. So we're super excited for that. I also put the link to Girls Inc. so you can kind of see and learn more about that amazing organization which supports and empowers young women. So really, really excited about that. And so now I want to go around the room and just introduce our co-authors. I'd love for you to, I'm gonna maybe call on you in order if I can see all of you on the same screen here. But if not, just jump in with your name, the company, the firm that you're with, the market that you serve, and a word that describes you when you entered the real estate business. So ladies, I'm going to let you unmute yourself, and let's start with Tara McCarthy. Who I caught off guard.
Hi. My name is Tara McCarthy, and I'm in Denver, Colorado. And gosh, I've been in the business 17 years now. But I would say that the word that described me when I got into this business was probably like tenacity. I feel like tenacity is a good word to describe where I was at that point in time. So.
Love it. Nicole Majors.
Hi, Nicole Majors here. I am in Port St. Joe, Florida. It's better known as just the Panhandle of Florida, Panama City and Southeast. That's my grounds. So I would say the word that most people use to describe me, and even when I came into real estate, is probably vivacious. I come in with a lot of energy. So here I am. That's me.
Love it. Kathy.
Unmute myself. Sorry about that. Yes, I'm Kathy Helbig-Strick, and I have been in the real estate business for 26 years. Started out as a solo agent, built one of the first teams in St. Louis back before anybody had teams. Helped run co-owned a Keller Williams brokerage for 10 years. I had an independent brokerage for 5 years. I've pretty much done it all. I would say the word that best described me when I first started was aspiring, because I always knew I wanted to do big things. I just didn't know what those things were going to be. So I aspired to be more.
Love it. Kim Dean.
Hey there, my name is Kim Dean. I have the Simply Texas Real Estate Group at EXP. We're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've been in real estate since 2004, so 18 years. I was an independent broker owner for 12 of those years before merging my independent brokerage with EXP last fall. I would say the word that described me when I first got in was determined.
Love it. Nikki Klein.
Hi, I'm Nikki Klein. I'm with EXP in Boca Raton, Florida. I got my license about 8 years ago. And I moved over about, in December of last year. So I've been here almost a year. My word, I would say driven, which hasn't changed much, but that's my word when I first came in.
Great. Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer Marr, New York. I've been in the real estate business for 26 years, and I morphed out of sales and into the coaching side pretty much full time for the last 6 months. So it's an amazing adventure. And I would have to say the one word, as I asked my husband, what word would you use? And he said tenacious. And I went, yeah, absolutely. So good to be here and so grateful. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Tam. Amazing opportunity.
Thank you, Jennifer. Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren Rocco. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am also with EXP. I've been selling real estate for 18 years. And you girls have such big words. The first word that came to my mind, because I got licensed at 20, was clueless. So that was me right when I got into real estate. I mean, if we're being honest here, I had no idea what I was getting into. I feel like I've come a long way, but back then that word definitely would have been me.
Love the honesty. Rosie.
Hi there. My name is Rosie Rodriguez. I'm from Southern California. I've been here my whole life. Started in the business about 25 years ago, started in mortgage for about 10 years, still have a mortgage company. Morphed into real estate, ran a big real estate company. left that behind and did independent for a little while. And now I run a powerhouse group across the country. This is a group of realtors under the EXP umbrella. Very passionate about real estate. Have always been passionate about investing and creating, revenue streams. So the word that comes to mind is opportunity, because I think that coming in, I saw an opportunity and I keep my eyes open to, doors that are available, or doors that I have to either knock on or kick down, or, whatever it is. But opportunity would be the word.
Love it. Rima.
Hi, my name is Rima Rafay. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. It's an honor. And thank you, Caroline, for doing all of this. I am from Santa Clarita Valley, Los Angeles County. I've been in the business for 16 years. I'm also with the XP, started as a solo agent, and now I do have a team of 13 agents under my belt. Started my team 3 years ago. And I would say the word that describes me would be stubborn. Stubborn can be used in a great way. Sometimes when I set myself to a goal or something that I want to do, I don't let anyone stand in the way. And I was called stubborn so many times, but the people that I love the most, and that would be me.
Thank you, Rima. Grace.
Good afternoon, good evening. And I also have invited some overseas. If you are here, good morning as well. And I'm in New York and New Jersey, and in this business for about close to 10 years. Prior to that, I was in financial industry as a Wall Street trader and a financial advisor. And the word to describe me will be 4-letter words: fire, and still am fire. And love all these ladies here. Cannot be more better group of ladies here. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Tam. And thank you, everyone, for supporting us.
Thanks, Grace. Vic.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vic DeCaro from Northern Virginia, the DC metropolitan area. And I'm very grateful to be here with all of you. Thank you, Caroline and Tam, for getting us all together and championing this amazing book. I had, thinking about the words, there's 2 different words that people describe me. It's definitely passionate, but I'm also scrappy. So I'm like, which one? But I think relating to this, scrappy is going to be the word that I would choose, because there were a lot of times that I came in as the underdog and had to be scrappy to get the things that I needed, even though when I didn't have everything perfect. So scrappy is where I started, I would say. And in Northern Virginia, I've been in the business 22 years. And I started as a solo agent. It took me 13 years to then develop a team. So got a team, and now we're a team of 15 doing just a little bit under 100 million.
Awesome. Jamie.
I'm Jamie Tulak. I am in the Raleigh, North Carolina market. Didn't start there. So if you get to read my portion of the book, you'll get to hear a little bit about my story. But I'm at EXP as well. I've been in the business for 13 years nearly, and it seems like longer sometimes. But the word that I would probably choose is fearless. Again, part of my chapter just talks about how I was obedient to God's call to step into real estate, and have been fearless ever since.
Love it. Thank you. Rebecca.
Hi, cheers, everyone. So I am Rebecca Soto. I've been in real estate since 2006. Started working together with my husband, and about 4 years in, we decided to open up our own brokerage, and we had that brokerage for about 9 years. Today, we've for the past 3.5 years, we've now been also with EXP. We lead a large group as well that is nationwide and in multiple countries. And we're also authors of another book called Married in Real Estate. And my one word, I would be determined. And I think from the backgrounds that my husband and I had, we were very unhappy, unsatisfied with what we were doing. It was not fulfilling. And this seemed like an opportunity, a dream to be able to help families be able to get into their first homes and be able to create wealth through real estate. And so that brought us a lot of excitement and fulfillment, and we've been doing it happily together for about 17 years, almost 17 years now. So determined is our word.
Love it. So I think we've gone around the room. So we do have Veronica Figueroa, who is in Europe right now, in Italy, who could not make it this evening. And I believe also Megan Farrell is recovering from from an illness, so she is not here either. So we're missing lovely co-authors, but the show must go on. So let's continue on. So what I thought we could do is I have a few questions for the ladies that we could go around. And then if the audience has any, we'll do a little Q&A towards the end. So if anybody here wants to raise their hand with the little, the reactions button, let us know, and I'll call on you if you have any specific questions for any of the specific authors, or you want to just kind of throw it out there to us, that is totally fine. So I'm going to start with the first question, which is, what made you say yes to this project? We're not going to have everybody answer each question. I'm just going to call it a couple of you and just kind of, so I'm going to throw this one out to Kathy. Kathy, what made you say yes to this book?
Well, for one thing, the company that I get to keep with collaborating with this book. So that was a definite yes. For those of you that don't know me, I say many times, I'm an extroverted introvert. So it was a little bit daunting for me to be vulnerable and put some of my story out there. And then also try to figure out how to put it in one chapter, without going as deep as I would like to go if I'm going to spill my guts. But I think the biggest thing is, I feel like our generation now, like, we don't live in reality. And because of social media, because our jobs depend on, beating our chests that we're the best, and, having to put out there all the highlight reels, I felt like it's important to be vulnerable. And it's a hard choice sometimes, because you don't want to be vulnerable in some situations publicly, because then, you have darts thrown at you, or people use that against you, but yet so many more people relate to you when you're being vulnerable. So I felt like for me, this project was a way to get the words out there and tell some of the stories behind the scenes that maybe I didn't put in my highlight reels over the years, because I coach a lot of agents over the years, and they come into the business and they think they're just going to come in and be you, and they don't realize all the hardships and all the sacrifices and the things that we had to do to get to where we're at. So I think it's important that people hear that. And then also, if I can save some people from not making some of the mistakes I've made, not wasting some of the money that I've wasted, not sacrificing friends and family and marriages and children and all those things that I did building a career in real estate before we had systems and teams and support like we do now. That was really my biggest driving force to go ahead and open up and let people see that I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I'm still here and still thriving.
Thank you for that. I agree that the vulnerability piece can be a double-edged sword in this business, and it takes a lot of courage to put it out there. I mean, it's not something that I could have done a few years back,
Right.
So you said that perfectly on all points. Mm-hmm. Jamie, how about you? Let's have you kind of answer this question too. What made you say yes?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, once I saw some of the other women who were invited to be a part of this book, I said, hell yes. I'm like, if they're saying yes, I'm saying yes, because some of these women I've admired for a long time. And if I can keep company with them and do this with them, that in and of itself was going to be an accomplishment for me. So thank you for that. But the other part of it is, I think so many times in this industry, so many of us have imposter syndrome. And we look at other people like, oh, they're better than me. They're doing cooler things than me. They're, whatever. And if I could step out and do this, maybe it would inspire someone else to share their story, because I think every single one of us has something really unique to share, and different perspectives and different journeys that deserve to be heard. And more than anything, if it helps inspire and empower other women to do the same and to step up and realize like they have something unique to bring to the table, then that was enough for me, you know? That right there is what really helped me say, okay, I can do this. I'm not less than, like, I'm okay to go forward and share my story, no matter if I think it's not very unique. Maybe somebody else out there will, and pull something from it and inspire them to go do something bigger too. So
Yeah. And I love, that is not just fluff. Like, you live that every day. You and Tara and Lauren with your Girls with Grit collective, you guys live that every day, that you want to empower and inspire and uplift other women in this industry. So love it. Rebecca, I'm going to have you also kind of let us know what made you say yes.
Honestly, it's just an honor to be among all these women, but I believe that everybody has a story. And just like Jamie was saying, that sometimes we have imposter syndrome, or we don't think that our story can impact someone else. Yet there are so many people going through maybe more or less the same issues. And when we share our stories, how we challenges that we had, adversities that we had to overcome, and how we did that, it really does help other people. And I'm all about, uplifting other women. And so if our story can help someone else, in my case, other couples, I think we have so many beautiful stories to tell. And the fact that we've all reached, certain levels of success gives everyone hope that no matter what you've been through, and some of us have been through some really dark times. And I think it's important to share all those dirty details, because there's hope, there's light at the end of that tunnel. And so I guess what I want people to know is that if you're going through a tough time, or you know someone that is going through a tough time, these stories can help them know that they can turn their situation around, because so many of us did. And so this book, I hope, would be not just a beacon of light for people, but that they would want to share it with someone else. Think of someone, all of us know somebody is going through something, and this would be a wonderful Christmas gift right now to help inspire someone else's life. And that gives me chills just thinking about it, because I've heard some of the stories. I haven't even heard all of them myself, but the stories that I've heard, all of them are impactful. All of them are impactful. So it's just an honor to be here and to share, and to be able to contribute and collaborate with all these women, these amazing women that I look up to.
Awesome. Jennifer Marr, I'll have you say the final word on this one. Why did you say yes?
So I said yes for so many different reasons. And for me, it was really at a moment where there was a lot of shift going on in my whole life, in my career. And very shortly after, a huge major shift happened that I wasn't expecting whatsoever. So it was extremely grateful, to have such an amazing project at that moment, because it really helped me keep focused and understand what I want to do. And so to be able to get it out there, just for me, it was confidence was the main thing that held me back the longest in this career, that true kind of confidence and understanding who you want to be in business, and how you're going to go about that, and how can you make money doing it that way. And so being able to put that out there, and for all women, because we all feel that way. Someone said imposter syndrome, and just who am I to take up this space? Well, I am me. I've earned this space. I've earned the right in the book. And so have all of we. And we work hard, and to be able to celebrate that with some of the most amazing women I know, who the heck would say no to that? So, and I want to just say that the best books are always the great conversations. And what I'm hearing here so far is, these are just the best kind of conversations. So thank you.
And, we just recently had a conference here in New Jersey where we brought together the real estate community. And one of the panels that we had was a few of the authors from this book. And it was by far the highest rated panel at the conference, because people really do like the real, authentic stories, the vulnerability, etc. So thank you all for sharing. So I'm gonna pivot to a new question, and this one is: how did you develop your leadership skills, and how do you keep them sharp? So I'm gonna throw this one over to Lauren Rocco to start.
Hi, well, I'm still developing my leadership skills. I would say what I do to keep those sharp is I am constantly uncomfortable. So honestly, I just like to, and I do that strategically, right? Because I know that when I'm in a room with people doing it better at a higher level than me, then I'm always going to grow. I'm always going to learn. And then in turn, I can show the people that are coming up behind me those same things, right? So I would say that's what I do. I stay in rooms that I should be in, right? But don't feel like I'm worthy of, but I am, so that's what I do. And I try to do that from like a service place, I think it's important as leaders that we're still serving our community and never get like too big for our britches to where we feel like, well, I'm past this, right? I'm past showing homes to, somebody in a mobile home park or whatever, like we all got here because of those things. So I think just staying humble and getting around people that are doing it better than you is a good thing. So
I love it. Yeah, I feel the same way. And actually, I feel like this book was an exercise in that for me as well. Like, am I really doing this? I'm really doing this. I'm really doing this. Rima, how about you? Tell us a little bit about how you developed your leadership skills and how you keep them sharp. Oh, you're muted.
It's work in progress. It's always every single day. You have to put yourself out there to grow more, to show up more, to learn more, being surrounded by the right people to lift you up and take you to the next level. Be the smallest person in the room. I've always wanted to be in rooms bigger than mine. And I was intimidated at the beginning. I said it in the book. I was not comfortable with being around people who's doing it on a high level. It's like they're gonna think the worst of me. And when I shifted my mind to be okay with surrounding myself, mastering mind by, large leaders and great leaders that will help me sharpen my skills, sharpen my leadership. And it's every day. We learn something every day. And being in this book and being part of this book, it's part of growing my leadership. And it's never ending story. It's not like now you are a leader and you're master at things. I'm growing every day. I'm failing every day. I'm learning new stuff every day. So it's leadership is just show up at 100% every single day, whatever you want to do in life, whether you are in real estate, in any business. I mean, I'm a fitness person. I love to work out. I get up in the morning, I want to show up at my 100%. So once you show up to the world, to show up to the people, to show up to the people that you're leading on a regular basis and be vulnerable with it, make the mistakes, admit it, and be okay with it. It's a definitely work in progress every single day. And every single day I learn from lady leaders like you, from my team, from my new agents. It's an amazing to just show up in this world.
Love it. Thank you for that. Beck, how about you?
For me, I realized early on, I guess I wouldn't say early on, but I used to play it really safe. And I found myself to be in a room where early on that I would always want to be in a room where I was the one that knew more than everybody else. So I became the big fish in a small pond for a while. And I wasn't growing and I wasn't learning. And I that was my safe zone so that I didn't have rejection. I didn't have, so I put myself in those places purposely. And as I started growing and learning more, I realized that I needed to put myself in those rooms like Lauren mentioned, where I am not the one that knew everything, and then that's when I really became a leader, is in learning that and putting myself in uncomfortable situations where, and it was because I didn't want to have that imposter syndrome. I was moving away from what was fearful for me. And so in being around those people and learning, what I found out is, all those leaders that I looked up to had a lot of the same concerns and issues that I did. They're just humans, just like me. But by putting myself there and putting, and all they wanted to do was help me, which was amazing too, right? So I made some great friendships that way. So that's a great thing for me. But I also like love reading about other people and learning about others. So that's another way that I'm always looking at self-help books, and I'm always listening to audibles. And my husband's like, you don't need to always do that. And I'm like, I just want to. I always want to learn from other people. So I think reading a lot of different books has helped me to continue that. And I'm also just getting into these masterminds. So going to a lot of different masterminds. And now that I have a team, I feel like it is my responsibility to not ever get comfortable. I need to constantly learn. And in teaching, you also learn and become a better leader. So
true. Yep. All very good points. So, somebody alluded to sometimes, this is a lonely road, right? The entrepreneurial road can get a little lonely. So the next question is, what's your advice to entrepreneurs who feel lonely while growing their business? So I'm gonna punt this one over to Kim Dean. What would you say?
So I think that being an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest things, one of the scariest things, but it's also one of the things that makes me so thankful for a platform like EXP. Because I think the number one thing you need to do is find your tribe and lean into them. So that way you're never alone. So if you wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I just can't do this another day, you know that there's another person there next to you who is feeling the same thing. I'm lucky in the fact that not only do I get to work with my husband, I know a few other ladies do as well. That helps, but also my sister, I've worked with her. And so I have those people that I can go to when times get tough. I think having my faith is huge in this road. I don't know how people do it without having that. And a few of you guys have already said this, but always being the dumbest person in the room, like surrounding yourself in rooms where you feel like you shouldn't be there, but you've got to. So when I'm lonely, it's intentionally plugging in. So you have to intentionally choose to show up for yourself every day. Otherwise, it gets real lonely real quick. So I would just say constantly lean into those people, find that tribe. If you haven't found them yet, keep looking because they're out there.
Great advice. Tara, how about you?
Well, I have to start by saying that loneliness was like not one of the emotions that I expected to have when I started this journey, right? Like I expected to be overwhelmed and stressed out, but loneliness was not one of the things that was on my radar at all. And it was a big slap in the face. I started when I was very, very young, and the loneliness came from very unexpected places. I think we all go into this industry or any entrepreneurial journey, and we expect that the people around us are going to be just as excited about it as we are, right? So like, I was like, I'm going to start selling houses. And then I watched all the people around me sell houses with agents that weren't me, right? And that puts you in a very, very dark and difficult place. And I think that pretty much every agent in this industry experiences that at some point. And then just entrepreneurs in general, when you're very highly driven, I feel like we're just wired differently than people, right? We're very goal focused. And if you're not that type of person, it doesn't make you a bad person, but it's difficult to identify with those of us who are like, no, this is the finish line. We're going to get there, like no matter what it takes. And so we're just not really easily understood. And I wish I could say that loneliness went away at the beginning, but I actually think that as you move through levels of success, sometimes it gets even lonelier, right? Because you start to maybe shed some of the people around you that maybe aren't in the same spot as you are anymore. And that is terrifying and exciting all at the same time. And it can sometimes feel bad, but I would say getting comfortable with being lonely is one of the best places that you can be, honestly. And also just finding your people, right? Like Kim mentioned, EXP has been amazing. There's not a lot of places like EXP. We're all so very lucky to be here and to find others like ourselves. But if you can't find it, build it. Right? Like build your own table. And, Carolyn, you mentioned Girls with Grit, like when at the beginning of this call, and that's what Jamie and Lauren and I did. It was like, it felt lonely, but it's like, we're going to build a place for us and for everybody else. And I kind of feel like we're doing that a little bit with this book too. Like I feel so inspired by everyone that's here. So get comfortable with it, find it or build it. Those are my three little pieces.
Love it. And Tam, you know what? I thought I would throw you into this question as well, even though we hadn't really planned on it, but a lot of what you do is virtual as well. And you just moved from, to Las Vegas and everything. So, and you've uprooted, your family to move there. So let's see what you have to say about this. How do you, what kind of advice do you have to entrepreneurs who might find this whole journey very lonely?
Thank you for that question, by the way. I think I would just say a lot of the same things that other ladies said. I had a little bit of a different journey because my parents were entrepreneurs. So I watched them go up and down, and I learned a lot from that. You would think that would have prepared me, like I would just jump into entrepreneurship and it would just be so easy for me. It wasn't. I went to college, got a marketing degree, and I ended up in corporate America, and I had an umbilical cord that I couldn't cut. For a long time. I was side hustling for many, many years, and I was scared. I left my job or lost my job at one time and thought, okay, I'm never going back. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to do this. And I ended up sleeping on my girlfriend's couch, and basically homeless, right? So I've been to the bottom of the journey of entrepreneurship. I lost my mom at a certain point when I was devastated and depressed. I felt very, very alone at many, many times, but I'm wired differently. There's something about me that, and now I said this to someone recently, I would rather die and never get there than never try. That's how I'm wired. And now that my business is taken off and it's doing what I thought, always dreamed of it to do. Now I know that for sure. It's so fulfilling to inspire people. And sometimes, yes, it's a lonely journey, man. People don't always understand the craziness of an entrepreneur's brain, where I'm crazy. There's no other way to say it. There's no other way to talk about that. I'm crazy, right? And I love that crazy. Yeah, I come up with these ideas and I don't give up. I don't let up, and I always try to find another way. I don't know how to give that to someone, but I would say this: find what you're passionate about, find what you would die for, be inspired by other people. I'm inspired every single day by what I do. I listen to women who fill my cup all day, all the time. Now, on the other hand, I get challenged a lot, but that pushes me because I'm always uncomfortable, like someone said, and I have to, find it in me to keep going and do it for a bigger purpose. Somebody asked me the other day, Tam, why are you so passionate about doing what you're doing? I don't know the exact answer about it, but I know that I wouldn't want to do one other thing else. Not one other thing else. And that beats the loneliness. It beats anything else. I just keep pushing forward, and you find your people. That's what you do. You find them, and they're all cheering for you and you're cheering for them. And it's beautiful and fulfilling.
Lovely. Very well said. Nikki Klein, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit here. So, challenges are abound when you're growing your business. And, you and I were just talking about this in the past few days. So I'm going to ask you, what has been your biggest challenge in growing your business thus far?
The biggest challenge is growing a team is the biggest challenge, because I think that in this business, there are so many different shiny objects and there are so many different teams who are doing things different ways, and you don't know what the right way is for your team. And me, for example, I can only speak for myself. I hire people that I love instead of people who are right for the business, right? Because I'm not the best person to be hiring in my business. So I've learned to kind of release that and be the last person that comes in to meet with the people that are going to be joining the team. So I think the challenges for me right now in this moment are actually, I'm fixing them because I'm working with some different people. But it's really I'm a creative person. I'm a visionary. So it's the back end system stuff, trying to wrap my head around that. I just had somebody who we parted ways amicably. and she was doing all the back end system stuff. And so I have to do the things I don't like to do. And that is really a challenge for me to like find I like to find the joy in things and work and do things that I love. And so the responsible thing, which is what I don't want to do, right, is to dig into the back of the business and learn how to do all the back end things. But now that I'm actually doing it, I'm quite enjoying it. But I'm also seeing where things were missed. So it's good. It's actually really good. But that was my biggest challenge, was having ostrich syndrome, avoiding the back end stuff because I'm such a creative, and having to like really work on myself to dig into the back end.
Yeah. Do you mind if I share a little anecdote?
Please.
Conversation. So, in the midst of this business upheaval that she just experienced, when we lose somebody who's close to you in the business, it's, it's upheaval. And I just remember using the phrase that people have told me over the years. It's, well, you know what? You're just going to have to put your big girl panties on and deal with it. And I just remember telling Nikki this. And then the next morning at 5 a.m., she texted me and she said, "Big girl panties are on." And she was just like,
well, I had a pity party for like 2 hours. And then I was like, all right, this is enough.
Yeah. You licked your wounds a little bit and then you were ready to go and you pivoted, so I'll always remember that little exchange, because it was just like, that's what we do. That's it.
You have to pivot. I mean, you can't dwell on things, because what does that do? It takes away from the things that you could be focusing on, and the people who want to be in your world, and the people who want to grow. So you have to really release whatever doesn't serve you as soon as possible, so that you can refocus and shift into the positive.
100%. Grace, how about you? What has been your biggest challenge in growing your business?
Let's see, trusting other people. So I always have to constantly remind myself that people that are more knowledgeable than me in many areas, and allow them to do it wrong. And when they are wrong, forgive them. And because I myself do things wrong. So don't get too uptight and try to babysit everyone. And the other thing is pay them well. Don't be the selfish leaders. We make sure they have a happy life, a generous payoff for them, and they will be with us.
Yeah, those are big lessons. Yeah. Jennifer Marr, how about you? You've had a couple iterations and a couple different businesses, so I'm interested to hear.
Well, it's been a journey, I can tell you that. And I came into this business, and if you get the book, you'll read a little bit about it. But I kind of just had no choice. I was uneducated. I was not in a great place in life, and I was interested. So that was the good part. And I'm a real doer. Like I get shit done. That's who I am. But I spent a good portion of my career kind of like I had something to prove, right? Because I wasn't very educated and not sure what else. And so when I finally realized that the more sort of almost it sounds selfish, but the more I focused on myself, the more I poured into myself, the more I allowed myself to build my skills, to learn, to grow as a human being. And the more I poured into myself, the better I was able to serve, whether it's a client or someone I'm coaching with. I can truly believe that this person's not going to get nearly as good of an experience no matter where they go, because I care and I know what I'm doing. So it took me this many years to really have that like inner confidence and knowledge of exactly what I want to do, and doing it for myself and not being the doer for everybody. So that was my biggest challenge. And 26 years in, it's about freaking time, right? So, but I'm super excited. So
always learning, always learning. Well, listen, in the interest of time, I'm going to kind of skip through a few of these questions, but I did want to circle back to Grace, because Grace, your chapter focuses on a health scare as well. You mentioned that, you had a big health scare in the past year. And so I'd like to know, and feel free to give us a little story about that. But how do you stay grounded and how do you take care of yourself?
Thank you. First of all, Caroline, thank you for putting me on spotlight on this one, because this is a very important issue for everyone here to share. And I basically grabbed anybody came to my life since then. I told them they are freaking lucky that I'm still alive here to share the story. And I would sit down with them for over an hour and make sure they get every single point. I'll be talking to them like point 1, are you listening? Point 2, are you listening? Point 3, are you listening? So for people that haven't got a chance to read our books on my chapter, I actually got hit with a stroke last year. A second before that, I was healthy, the Caroline, the typical me, I down. The entire family had no idea what the stroke was. I couldn't really explain. All I knew was it was a massive headache. Luckily, fast forward a year later, today I'm good. But the process was really tough. When I was taking the medicine, I wasn't myself anymore. I did not want to spell out the word when Tam was interviewing me. I said, Tam, don't write down that word, but just write everything. I literally wanted to give up everything. I was taking the medicine. My husband worked from home. My son's school, it was during COVID. Everybody at home, I closed the door. I never be so down and so quote unquote useless in my dictionary. I took the medicine. Suddenly I would cry very loud. And then I took out my phone. I started Googling how to end myself, everything. But luckily I'm a big chicken. I'm afraid to do that. So I did not. This I say, end it. This I say, don't end it. This I end it. This I don't end it. And every day, multiple times. And it took me many months, finally open up and share that with my husband. And lately I had, just last week I have a conversation with Tam. I say, share, tell people, doesn't matter business, personal life. There's nothing ashamed to tell people. So luckily, I told my husband, he said, immediately, go see the doctor. And the doctor explained the whole thing to me and say, just cry. Let the whole world know you cry. So now I'm grabbing this opportunity to tell everyone, our business is a lot. We see a lot of people out there misunderstood. Sometimes they say, oh, all you do is open the door for the buyers, lock the door for the seller. We did a lot more than that. We have to negotiate, we have to plan, and all these ladies sitting here I adore all of you, and I look up to everyone. We plan out, we put our knowledge together. So to close the deal, we went through a lot of process to educate and learn together with the clients. So while we are taking care of others, please be sure to take care of yourself. So I was very lucky that I was at the junction, did not know where to go, and I didn't. A very long story, but then I was lucky to get close to share this with Caroline, and Caroline immediately said, "Come join us." And then the next thing was this. I think just a few days or weeks later, Caroline set up this entire thing, and I remember during the meeting, Caroline said, come join. I immediately said, yes, I sign up. And then throughout the journey, I kept telling almost every day to myself, I am so freaking lucky that I got to be in this journey with all these amazing, strong ladies, and good. And now I write it in the book. The whole world now know I had a stroke. So let it out.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing, because that is a very private, moment. But unfortunately, it does come up in our world. And thank you for your honesty and being willing to share your story.
Thank you. And I'm now fully recovered. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Love you.
We're happy to hear that. Nicole, I know that, health and wellness is big in your world as well, and you're big into yoga. So I would love for you to kind of share, and maybe even give advice to some of us on how you take care of yourself.
Absolutely. First, I want to back up for just 2 seconds, because Grace, our team is the B major team because we lost my nephew to suicide, who we raised, and our team colors, everything about that is honoring his legacy And for anyone listening, like, I'm here for you. If you ever feel in that space mentally, this guy needs to stay in check. And for me, staying grounded, I hired coaches. I needed some mental help. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought it was pretty good. And, I hired coaches for nutrition and physical and stuff like that, but turned into a little bit more of a mindset work. And I love that. And so I've taken that, and I do yoga 5 to 6 times a week. I'm currently sitting here, I'm very sore from some of this stuff that we've done, but I'm a born again Christian believer, and I love my Lord, and sometimes yoga and Christianity can clash. But what I'm finding is when I step on that mat, it's mind, it's body, it's spirit, and you can dedicate that time to yourself and to your God. And I really feel very connected to the practice, and it is literally what keeps me grounded, because you all know that we run 24/7. Our phones are attached to us, like, we are constant. And if we do not have a space to take 30 minutes, an hour for yourself each day, you can't pour into others unless you've poured into this. And so I hold that pretty near and dear. And my history that's not who I was. But within the last 7 to 8 years, that's who I have become, because I realized, and there's been a huge awakening and a catapult in my life that says, nope, you get one chance at this. So we're going to stay in our space and bless others. And here I am.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I think it is so important to, if you're not aligned, to get aligned. And it's funny because I noticed somebody who entered the room, Kim Dowling, who also recently wrote a book with one of my spiritual teachers, Amy Brock, about women living in alignment. And it's also an anthology of several women telling their stories about how they came to their journey to becoming coaches and spiritual leaders, et cetera. And I just ordered it. I haven't read it yet, but Kim, I'm looking forward to meeting you in the flesh one of these days soon. So I want to be mindful of time. Rosie, I wanted to ask you, I wanted to kind of jump to the next question. There, women hopefully will be watching this who are about to embark on their real estate careers. What would you say, as somebody who's been in the trenches, what would be your advice to one of these young women?
It's funny because my daughter just asked me a question, and she just started her new career, not in real estate. And she was looking for, mentors and support. And I said, the number one thing that I think I've always been a fan of other leaders, right? Men, women, whatever it is, always a fan. And if you come from a place of, just admiration, being humble, in seeking like the next step and the next growth, leaders love giving back. You ask me like, oh, how do I do this? I'm just ready to like give you like the whole playbook, because I love to see ambition. I love to see that grit, that drive, in other people. It's attractive. So for other young women out there, or, anybody who's new in the business, one is to always operate with integrity and commitment, right? If you say you're going to do something, you do it. Remember that this is a very small community, and so you never want to burn your bridges. You want to just always treat people well, and then always be grateful. Even in the tough times, there's a gift. And so there's been so many times, I'm sure that all of you ladies in here have had some challenges. And on a daily, sometimes like, I'm like, you know what, let me take a step back while I sit on my porch with the sun shining and, drinking a lemonade. No, like there's always a gift here. So, be humble, be grateful, and keep moving forward one step at a time.
Love it. Very good advice. And you know what, I haven't answered any question. I'm going to answer that one. I'm going to chime in on that one. And for me, the advice would be to, get out of your comfort zone and don't play small, because playing small does not serve the world. And I think that that's what I would have wanted to hear when I came into the business, because I was naive and I played small until I didn't anymore, but it took finding my tribe, having the right coaches, finding, the right company to help mold me into that. So I would like to open it up to the audience before we do our last lap here. I just wanted to see, does anybody just raise your hand, whether physically or with the little icon? Do you guys have any questions for the ladies? I'm going to just kind of cycle through here and see if there's. Thank you, by the way, for joining us. We have lots of guests this evening. So if we don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and launch into our last little question for the ladies. And that is, at the beginning of the conversation, I asked you, what was a word that described you when you entered the business? And I'd like to ask you now, what is a word that describes you today? So I'm going to start with Tara. Tara, who was searching for her word.
Gosh, I wasn't even thinking about that word, honestly. I don't know. I mean, I would hope that others would look to me as a leader at this point, honestly, like a leader to help raise them and lift while we climb kind of thing. So yeah, that would hopefully be my word.
Love it. Nicole.
I want to say the word probably for me would be bold, because I've made a lot of big moves over the last year to year and a half. But also supporter. Like I'm definitely that, which is cool.
Love it. Kathy.
Resilient.
Kim.
A fighter.
I would say legacy. Building a legacy and what I want other people to say about me when I'm no longer here.
Nikki.
I would say patient, because I used to be so impulsive, Heidi, and now I take a breath and then I'm impulsive. But no, I really learned patience.
Jennifer.
Well, of course, I didn't really listen before. My word would have been broken when I got into the business. But my word for myself right now wouldn't be tenacious. I actually feel like I can put that down. And my word for myself now is whole. And that, best word I've ever heard me use ever. So thank you.
Great thing to strive for. Lauren.
I would say authentic. I hope that people see that in me. So,
Rosie.
So many good words, ladies. I would say impact and legacy. We have a very short amount of time here, and we can make $1 million and sell a ton of homes and whatnot. But what you leave behind, I think, is really what matters. The lives that you change and the legacy you leave behind.
Rima.
Will be driven. That's the word for me today.
Grace.
Continue my fire. Keep marching. Keep going.
Heck.
For me, it's impact and inspire. I want to be able to inspire other people to, I just want to be able to move someone from, take action and be removed from fear, because I was a very cautious and fearful person myself. So I want to be able to have that impact and inspire somebody to change their life.
Jamie.
I've already kind of said this in my story before. It's just empower. I hope that when people look at me and see my story and see what I've been able to accomplish, that it empowers them to want to do the same, because I am one of the younger ones here on this panel, and that's okay. But that's not without life experience here in the real estate industry. So hopefully I'm able to inspire and empower others to go after their dreams, just like all of us have.
Tam.
Boss up.
Rebecca.
Wow, I could relate to so many of the words here, like impact and legacy. And I really hope that I could be just a beacon of light for people and be that support. And that's kind of what I strive for. I just want to help more people. And so yeah, beacon. I want to be a beacon.
Love it. Let me see. I forget. I lost track now. I think we have. Who did I not ask for their word?
Caroline, what's your word?
You know, I think mine is bravery, like to be brave, brave to continue the mission, right? Like brave to continue to try to inspire. Just, I think that's what it takes for me right now. Like just be brave, you know, brave to face the market shift, brave everything. So with that, I don't want to keep anybody too late. It's 8:05. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you all, find the book. You can buy it on Amazon. If you know any of the authors here, you can probably find it on their website. They're also selling hard copies of it. Those will be sent out in the next few weeks here, in the next couple of weeks. But for now, the ebook is available on Amazon. And as we said, all of the proceeds will be going to Girls Inc. So thank you all for joining, and enjoy the book and happy reading. And cheers. Thanks for coming and winding up with us. Bossing up and winding down.
Cheers. And I want to thank everyone that connected tonight, but I have a new special friend that connected as well, Madeline Aragon, and she's written her own book as well. And I just really appreciate her being here. I hope that I get a chance to interview her so you guys can hear her story. She had a very impactful story that I was able to hear, and just, another person who is bossing up in her neck of the woods. And so you'll get to meet her hopefully at another time.
Love it. Love it. And this is a movement, right? This is the Boss Up movement. So it doesn't end here. We're going to be doing a book tour across the US. We're taking it to Europe, Dubai. So Tam, thank you so much for everything.
Caroline, can I just steal 1 second? Yes. I just want to say hi and thank you to my overseas friend. 谢谢你们，多谢。Okay, 再见。
Lovely. Anybody else want to do a shout out? I saw Kyle Handy was on. Kim Dowling, Lisa Vidal, thank you for joining.
Stacy, thanks for jumping on, girl.
And Anne-Marie Nava out of Houston.
Noelle Nielsen is here. I didn't notice her come in. Hey, Noelle.
Erin Melton, Diane Calix.
Awesome. And Joey and Jenna, thank you so much for being on. And Godspeed, everybody. Have a good evening.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Tam, thanks for being on. Appreciate it.
So very welcome. This was amazing.
Yeah, this was fun. I'm just copying the chat.
Okay.
In case there were any good nuggets in there.
Awesome. And it should send it to you too when you get the replay.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't record very often. So.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
See you later. Okay. Bye.
Bye, everybody.